Usually we do not think of a cartoonist to be a very serious person. We assume that they are as jolly, funny and as happening as their work. But what if I told you that a cartoonist is an elite class 1 officer of the state? Quite unexpected, isn't it? Good morning, viewers. Yes, our today's guest is an influencer. He is a pioneer cartoonist, political cartoonist, I must say, a comic book writer, a poet, a novelist, who is currently serving as a DDSC Kurung Kumey. He has been recently awarded with a Luminous Lumardai Literary Award 2021. Please welcome Mr. Yumlam Tana. Welcome to the
Thank
session.
you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Many congratulations for your award, sir. Much deserving, I must say.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So it is very intriguing to know your journey. You have been a cartoonist, political cartoonist. I think it was in the late 90s.
Yes.
In the front page of Arunachal Times, it used to come by the name There You Are. So how, sir, you began its journey? How did you start about it? Please let us know.
I used to sketch since my childhood days, and when Arunachal Times started, I thought it would be fun to have a cartoon, a front page cartoon by me. And I used to follow R.K. Lakshman a lot.
Okay.
So I approached the then editor Pradeep Da, and along with one gentleman, elderly gentleman, who was a very famous journalist of that era, Shantanu. Shantanu, I think he must have retired.
Okay.
So both of them actually mentored me, and three of us came up with this idea of having a column actually.
Yes, in the front page.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
Yes.
I saw one portion of yours,
yes.
which was set up in Apatani background with Babo and Apatani Ane,
Yes,
and Apatani man is talking to, I think, a politician.
Yes.
Very much relevant to the society, you know.
Yes.
So, sir, were you still a student at that time?
Yeah, I was a student at that time, and I used to contribute articles to some other papers also. I think Mr. Habung Yungbyo also had a paper, Arunachal News. I don't know if it's in circulation still, but I used to contribute cartoons there also.
Okay.
But I used to be very happy when my cartoons appeared in Arunachal Times, obviously, because that was the only media outlet in the state at that time.
Yes.
And everybody used to see.
Yes, sir.
And the little, recognition and fame and little, it made me really happy actually.
No, sir, that is a big thing. Arunachal Times is a big name. It's very, the most, I think that is also most pioneer newspaper of the state, and getting recognized obviously definitely is a proud moment. So, sir, if you don't mind, were you even paid? Because I don't think so. At that time, this was taken as a job by many.
I was paid 250 rupees per for a pocket cartoon.
Okay.
And 500 rupees for a big size political cartoon.
Wow.
So I mean.
So that is good enough. That was a good money for a student.
Yes. But I used to come all the way from. I used to stay in a place called Karsingsa.
Okay.
So I used to come up and down, and sometimes I used to take the bus and come to submit my cartoons to the office here.
Okay, sir. So, sir, you mentioned about you were sketching since the school time. So, where was your schooling done?
My elementary schooling was done at St. Xavier's Harmuti. It was one of the oldest missionary schools of that time actually, and people from all over our state, they used to come to study there.
Yes, Harmuti was the best, considered as the best.
Yeah, at that time.
Yes.
Then after that, state government took initiative to open Donipolo Mission School and all. Then now we have very good schools out here. So
yes.
we don't go there.
That was St. Xavier, known by the name.
And after that, my secondary and higher secondary schools I did in a government schools.
Okay, sir.
So higher secondary school Yazali.
Okay. Yes. So how did you get inspiration of those political cartoons? Your observation must be very keen. You might be having very keen observations.
At that time, political cartoon was a must for every newspaper actually.
Okay.
Yes,
Was it?
Yeah. Times of India, every day you will find a pocket cartoon by R.K. Lakshman, and in Hindustan Times you'll have the pocket cartoon by Sudhir Thailang, and say thrice on each week front page, that too on the front page, political cartoon by R.K. Lakshman or Sudhir Thailang. Those were the heydays of political cartoons actually.
Okay.
So naturally, as an impressionable young mind, actually, I was very much influenced by them, and I wanted to do something about it. So,
but that is really nice. I wish these papers, they still have that, you know.
Yeah.
And any chance of you coming back to being a cartoonist, sir, doing into that job again?
No, political cartoon, I think the art of political cartoon has totally waned, not only in our country but across the world.
Okay.
These days they are going, they have migrated to the digital platform.
Okay.
And political cartoonists, I don't think they are employed anywhere. I don't see them in any newspaper nowadays. Times of India, Hindustan Times, the Telegraph, you don't see them around. So apart from the comic strips, the usual comic strips by Archie comic strip, this old Tarzan, Phantom, and all these Mandrake the Magician comic strips.
Yes,
you don't see the political cartoons being employed in a newspaper anywhere. So going back there doesn't make sense. But definitely, I'm thinking of working on another, graphic novel.
Okay, yeah. We really wish that you do, because they were privileged, the one who got to read you, and we wish that we also get to read your work.
This is one area where I really want to work, and I'm very passionate about it because I love paintings, I love making art, and also somehow I love writing also. So that's the thing.
So that's still good news for us, those who missed. So, sir, next was your comic book of the Nyishi folktale by the name The Wooing of Jiwt. So, Jiwt is pronounced like that?
Jiwt. Yes. Okay. And here too, I would like to mention the contribution of a very great man of our community, Mr. Yumlam Tana. He's a legendary folk artist of our community. The stories of that book has been shared to me by him actually.
Okay. So sir, why did you think of bringing it in a comic form? Why not in a novel or a short stories?
Already books were available in that format actually. Say for example, we had Varier Elwin's book on tribal folk tales and mythology.
Okay.
And there were other researchers, state governments researchers who were working in the research department. They also had come up with many books on folk tales and mythology.
Okay.
So there was nothing new to be done. But at that time there was no MTV, there was no not even Tata Sky and all, and no, you could not watch cartoons like the kids they do today. At that time, the only form of entertainment was reading comics.
And that was such a good habit.
Yes. And the comics that were popular around were Archie's for teenagers, and Phantom, Tarzan, and for adolescent kids. So I thought, why not use that format to highlight our folk culture. Popularize our folk tales through comic books.
A very good idea.
Actually, and I should tell you that I didn't get paid for this one. Actually, the first comic book I did it for promotion of Nyishi folk and culture, and I did it for Nyishi Indigenous and Faith Culture Society.
Okay, so you have one more that done by
the Wooing of Jiwt, and I think they used it in their own way. Then the second book in that same series,
The Struggle for Existence.
I did it for one organization called Koloriang Cultural and Literary Society. Since they were very keen on promoting folk tales and reading habits among small children.
So, sir, is there any cartoon? There used to be any course for that? But you were, of course, you did not avail the training.
I'll tell you one thing. during our days, growing up in the late 90s, you did not even have a place where you can buy a decent watercolor also. Now you go to Akashdeep, the shops there, they sell acrylic paints, they sell oil colors. At that time, the kind of watercolor that we used to buy was, was found in a small plastic, container, in small cakes actually. So, and the brush quality was also very horrible actually. So, but when I was in college, I luckily someone mentioned to me that there is a place in Chennai where they offer, correspondence course for cartooning and all. No?
Sir.
I don't know if it's still functioning. It's called Shantanu Chitra Vidyalam.
Shantanu Chitra Vidyalam.
Yes.
So, but sir, in correspondence, how do you learn?
The course material that they gave was very nice actually. And what we used to do was, for example, they would ask me to draw a village scenery. Depicting in the background using perspective method to draw a village scene with few houses around and the village street sceneries. And in the foreground should be a lady with a water, pot on her head, carrying it and walking towards the village. So they would that would be the assignment actually. So they would give me say 15 days to do it and send it to them. So what I would do is I would do it, then I would send it to them by mail. Yeah, after 1 month or 2 months I get the response saying that your perspective here is wrong and the correction would be there. And so, but it was at least I could get something at least from that actually.
Exactly, but so much dedication, waiting for 1 month after submission, which otherwise I don't think so. Like today's children, they have this comic. It might have taken lots of time. How usually time it takes for you to complete one book at that time?
This book, Abotani, The Struggle for Existence, it took me around 2 months. To do the entire thing from writing the script, dialogue, the layout, and the final art and coloring. And I had to do everything actually.
Yes, by yourself. And sir, did anyone edit it? Like nowadays we have this editor, or did anyone do the proofreading for you?
Unfortunately, the team I was working with, I mean, I was the best person who could, write in English. So there was no one to edit me actually. And we got this one printed in Delhi actually.
So sir, these pictures, I want to show it to the audience. All these things, I mean, like it requires so much detailing. So you say that brushes were not that thing and not that of fine quality, and the colors were not of that thing. And after drawing, in what format you used to draw this?
I used to draw the entire thing in this chart paper that we use in schools, that is readily available in the stationery shops. Then after that, I used to draw the panel there, and on the panel only I used to sketch, because we didn't have the luxury of zooming in and out that currently Photoshop users can have. So even the small details and all, we used to draw it by hand actually. So all these leaves, the trees and all. And the person behind the entire project was one of our former minister, Kafa Bengia. So
he sponsored for
he
entire
sponsored it. And the person who went with me to Guwahati, they are still very active philanthropist even today. Mr. Tolum Takar, he's a ZPM of Damin currently, and a friend of mine actually, and a relative, Lokam Anthony. So 3 of us went, carried the big bundle and got it scanned there, and we stayed there for at least 2 or 3 weeks in Delhi.
What is your favorite part in this book? Could you read us one?
This is a continuation of the previous volume actually. So I can just read the first 2 pages. Actually.
Please do. Please do.
We have this panoramic image of Abotani with his wife Jiwt, the son of the daughter of the Almighty Sun, and their offspring. Since they have been asked by Anedoni to move out from her house and go to earth, to migrate there, so that they can save themselves and from the Uyus, the malevolent Uyus, and they can restart their lives there. So that is the first panoramic depiction of the story so far. The story so far. Abotani succeeds in wooing Jiwt, the daughter of the Almighty Doni.
Okay.
Thereby, Tani became immortal at the same time. The Uyus who courted Jiwt in vain became extremely jealous of him. They plotted to kill Tani, who was saved by Jiwt Ane through the process of Purnyoga Tamnam. As per Jiwt Ane's Nitamnam, Tani migrated to the earth from the kingdom of the sun. In time, he spawned a whole race of men, most notably the Tani group of tribes, the Nyishi, Adi, Galo, Apatani, Tagin. Tani worked hard to support himself and his family. The Uyus were still after him, plotting to kill Tani and highlight the whole race of men who were his descendants. The spirit in Nishing demonology consists of three groups, namely the Uyus, the Orams, and the Sunyu Uyus. The Uyus are classified as malevolent and benevolent depending on their relationship with men.
Okay.
They are the progenies of Poyu Tani, one of the earliest Tani, and hence they predated the existence of men on earth.
Okay.
The Orams are the souls of the dead. Their abode is the netherworld where they keep their house. And the Sunyu Uyus are spirits of those who meet unnatural death. They never reach the sky nor earth and netherworld, but go somewhere between, a place called Talang Yoku.
Oh, that's really nice. So this is so much, like full of knowledge also.
Yes. That's the point actually. Through pictures, I wanted, my intention was to tell a very serious story of our community.
Yes.
Not only of the Nishi community, of the entire Tani community. Because ultimately somebody will say, okay, that is also in our Adi tradition. It is also in our Apatani tradition. And that way this discourse will continue actually. That was my main motive actually.
Yes, sir. And this really needs republication, sir, I must say. So viewers, this conversation is only getting more interesting. Stay tuned with us. We will be right back.
अरुणाचल का पहला ग्रोसरी डिलीवरी ऐप दुकान दादा के जरिए आप घर बैठे ग्रोसरी जैसे अन्य दैनिक आवश्यक वस्तुएं ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं। ऑर्डर करने के लिए आप गूगल प्ले स्टोर और एप्पल स्टोर से दुकान दादा ऐप डाउनलोड करें। पेमेंट COD कार्ड्स ऑनलाइन बैंकिंग के माध्यम से करें। दुकान दादा की सर्विसेज ईटानगर, नाहरलगुन, दोईमुख तथा निर्जली में उपलब्ध है।
Welcome back to the Authors with ALISON WELLY. Today we are in conversation with Mr. Yumlam Tana, sir. So, sir, जैसे मैं बोल रहा था पहले, so till now your genre was more of artistic, comical type. Then you shifted to the poetry, which is more subtle in nature, I think. And your first book was The Man and the Tiger in 1999, and The Wind also sings in 2015. So, sir, the title, The Man and the Tiger, does not at all sound like a poetry book to me. It's more like, if I came across, I would think it's more like, novel, or maybe our folk tales, So could you tell us the story behind coining that term?
The title, I wanted to give a very attention-grabbing title. So I thought, Man and the Tiger will pick readers' interest, and maybe they'll pick up to read the book. Actually, in Nyishi we have a mythology where man and the tiger are supposed to be brothers. So this book has a poem revolving around this particular folk tale.
Okay.
So the title of the book is derived from the same folktale actually.
Okay, okay. And The Wind also sings in 2015. So how about that one, sir? How the story behind that book also?
After a gap of, you can see the gap
Yes,
actually.
gap of 12 years
Yeah,
almost.
12 years I came up with this book actually. And it's the book I wanted to give an impression that sometimes, let alone leave about poetry, even the basic questions about culture, community and other issues faced by us today are largely ignored. So through the title of this book, I just wanted to grab the reader's attention by stating that listen, the wind also sometimes it can also sing if you care to listen carefully actually.
Very true. Yes. So sir, why the gap of these 12 years? Yes, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it was a tough time for me actually, and I think first of all, I'm also a responsible parent. So
exactly.
My parental duties and my other office matters kept me very busy. So having settled all that, I thought it was time to move on. So I ventured into writing once again.
Do you think this writing is, as a profession, is it a profitable business?
I don't think it is advisable as a full-time job, especially in the context of Arunachal Pradesh.
Exactly.
And let us be brutally honest. You will not be, one will not be able to sustain oneself only through writing out here. And even some of the well-established writers of the country currently who are very famous. For example, I could cite the name of Sudeb Sen, one of the most prominent writer of English poetry right now at this very moment. Arundhati Subramaniam, and even Aruni Kashyap, one of the most famous young writers from Northeast India. I think they are all college, some of them are college professors, some of them are working full-time in some media houses and all.
Yes, sir. So just now that you mentioned about those names, they are, I think they have huge followers, huge readers, and maybe because they are from the mainland, and our Northeast people are not to say that the discrimination part, but I think they feel like since our population is less, and those people, they may not even relate to our work. So that could be a reason, one of the marketing factor, like affecting the marketing factor?
Ultimately, good writing shines through no matter where you are and what you are and where you are from. But at the end of the day, obviously there are some discordant noises heard that that tribal writers are not taken to be of much note, or they are not given their due, or and that the question of center and periphery is there. That people, publishers are even there is an accusation that that the Western publishers, they have their own taste, they have their own opinion, and so the authors from the Indian subcontinent are largely neglected.
Exactly.
And these are there, but as a writer, I think we should not be much worried or bothered about such discourses actually, and they continue to happen. We should have a very positive frame of mind, and we should work hard so that and let our works speak for itself.
Exactly, so, very true. And sir, recently you published The Place Where Rivers Meet in 2020.
Yes.
So sir, that publisher was Lead Start publisher from Mumbai. How did you your work was published? How did you send it? Or
I sent my manuscript to 2 or 3 publishers at the same time. So some of them are very big names, and they asked me to wait for some time actually, and it takes around 6 to 7, sometimes even 9 to 10 months to get a response from them actually. And strictly person to person contact is not permitted by them. So Lead Start were the first publisher to respond actually. So I did a background check, and I saw that their book Asura by Nandan Nilekani, I think it did well. It was in the country's bestseller list as well. And I also saw that some of the books published by them were I mean, movie rights were sold for them. So I thought, okay, it's my debut work, and I wanted to get it hurriedly done also. So I went ahead for it actually.
That is very good thing you did, sir. So they are the big names in the industry. So like, is that named after any real place? Because your book name is always, like very interesting. The place where rivers meet. Is this named after any real place I think in Arunachal we have so many such places where the rivers meet. Or is it just metaphorical in your imagination?
It's metaphorical, it's mythical.
It's mythical.
Like, for example, when I was a kid, I was told that, there is a place called Bamboo Sele.
Bamboo Sele, okay.
Yes, Bamboo Sele is a place where the rivers of the earth come together.
Okay.
So, Nyishi, Sapatanis, I mean, Abotani tribe, group of, tribes, we do not have, perhaps have the concept of the ocean, for example.
Exactly.
Because we are tribes who are, based in the hinterlands of the subcontinent.
Very true.
We do not have access to the coastal, side.
Yes,
So perhaps our forefathers envisioned that these rivers, perhaps they go to a place where, and they named it a Bamboo Sele actually. This idea of the river, the place where the river meets the Bamboo Sele, this mythical place, this imaginary place, this folktale, idea, examined by me, as I grew up, I saw that actually it was a fallacy actually, and it was an imagination, and a very good imagination actually.
Indeed.
Yeah, it kept me engaged, and it made me, feel safe that okay, rivers go there, and there is a destination for the river. But ultimately, when I grew up, when all of us grew up, we came to know that actually there is no such place called Bamboo Sele. In fact, it's the ocean actually. And this book is all about this idea of exploration, this idea of opening up to the world actually.
Okay. So sir, is this book available in the local bookstore of ours, AP?
Yeah, a few bookstores in Akasdeep and all, you'll find it. But I don't think it sells like a hotcakes. Only few people who are interested to read may buy. And obviously, it has piqued the interest of some research scholars and academicians. And they sometimes call me up and ask me, but it's easily available online in the Amazon.
Yes, I was about to ask.
Flipkart and Amazon.
In Flipkart and not in Kindle yet.
Yeah.
They might bring
also,
in Kindle also.
Barnes and Nobles also.
That is great, sir. So, sir, in this book writing, how long it took you for preparation from manuscript to the printing and all these things, bringing into the book form?
The idea for this book was incubating for the past 6, 7, 8 years.
Yes.
It used to come at some in snatches, and I used to gather the ideas, and and after that, all of a sudden, I thought this can be put together into a book. And I did wanted to write a book where I could tell our tribe's journey actually, from the unknown to the known actually. And when the Indian government made inroads into our territory, everything was so different.
Yes.
And now, they came up with lots of promises, and we had lots of expectations that our life would be better, we'd be given education, we'd be having better life. Democracy was a beautiful thing for us. After that, when we opened up, when everything is connected, especially in the digital age, has that promise been fulfilled? And where are we exactly in relation to the rest of the world?
It's time to ponder.
Yeah, these are the issues that the book offers actually, and I wanted to write a book from the perspective of insiders' perspective of our tribe actually.
That's really nice, sir. So this is called question and answer round.
Okay.
So the first question is, what do you do for vocabulary? Because as a writer, it might require a lot. So what are the things you would suggest?
I read a lot actually, not only
Yes.
fiction but non-fiction also.
Okay.
Even people would be very surprised to know science books that are usually published for the general readers. Like for example, Stephen Hawking's Brief History of Time, and scientific writers like Amit Goswami and others. I diversify my reading so that I can harvest vocabularies from them actually. So I'm into artists, so when I describe an emotion, I can talk about color, I can talk about hue, I can talk about tincture, I can talk about many issues that only a colorist or a practicing artist can know.
Very true, sir. So what are your favorite authors, sir?
My favorite authors, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, John Donne, T.S. Eliot, and Haruki Murakami.
All the classical.
And Mahmoud Darwish.
Okay.
These are my favorite authors that I could remember now.
Okay, so like you already cleared me that earlier your works were not edited. So now your book novel, did anyone edit for you, sir, this novel, recent one?
Yes, the team from Leeds they helped me in editing it. But the benefit I got was that, for example, for one paragraph, they would say that this paragraph doesn't work. Can you rewrite it? So after I rewrite it, maybe if they feel okay, they would comment that it's okay. Otherwise, if I am adamant that no, this paragraph should go as it is, then they had no issues.
Okay,
so, and I had the benefit of getting some of my grammars cleaned up also, because no one is an expert, 100% expert grammarian.
Very true.
So there also I got some benefit from them.
Okay, so next obvious question is like, how do you deal with the writer's block, sir?
Writer's block, ma'am, it has never happened to me, to be very honest.
Okay.
And in fact, I would say that I never write until and unless I'm, emotionally charged and mentally ready to write. And if I'm not in the mood, or if I'm not in the flow, I just stop writing actually. So whenever I start writing, I'm charged up to write, and when I start writing, I mean, ideas just they fall into place, and ideas come from left and right. And in fact, I find it very difficult to keep track of them. And when I start typing, I just wish my fingers were faster actually, because the ideas come up at a faster rate, and this finger moves a little slower.
So that was exactly my same next questions, that how do you keep track of such ideas?
Read it in a book by Stephen King also. It's a book on writing actually. You use any material to keep record of the ideas come. They can come at any moments without telling you also. For example, right here also an idea may come to me and say, what I do is sometimes I used to even use the tissue paper from a restaurant also, scribble the idea down, take it back home and type it out and keep it in a folder, say with the name ideas and all.
Okay.
And sometimes, unfortunately, it also happens that tissue papers are in my pant and I put it in the washroom and the ideas are lost for the day. It also happened to me.
The ideas are gone in washroom.
Yes. And many such, these are the only way. And I heard also, in order to, come up with one ending, an ending may be bad, you need another ending, for example. You need, but for that, to discover that, you need a eureka moment, for example.
Okay.
So how do you do that? Like, for example, Thomas Alva Edison and some, even Isaac Newton also, I heard he did it this way. Just doze in his bed and holding a ball and just doze for 5, try to doze off. Then when the fingers, as he gets sleepy, the fingers gets relaxed and it falls down. The noise it makes it wakens the person. And the idea that comes at that moment will be the, kind of eureka moment.
Wow, that
is
something.
These are some of the things which I read, and I kind of, implemented many of them actually.
These are the golden words, viewers. I hope you all are listening and noting it down. Yes. So that is great, sir. Like eureka moments. This is something new I heard, but that is really nice. So, any upcoming project you have, sir?
my eternal wish was to, do a very serious graphic novel actually.
Okay, graphic novel.
As I told you, I have always loved painting and making art.
Exactly.
As well as writing. So I just wanted to combine these two and come up with something very worthwhile.
Okay. I have already asked how profitable is this writing for a new writer. So those youths who wants to still pursue their career in this line, what are your suggestions? How should they go about? Are there any writing school, or are there publishers or is there any group which is encouraging the youths without much fund needed for getting their book published?
Maybe writing will pick up one day for our state, and
Exactly.
maybe someone will come up from our ranks who will be critically acclaimed as well as are commercially successful.
Exactly.
So that can happen. But at the moment, it's not a very good time for writers as well as painters. Apart from this commercial and market consideration, I think we writers should be more concerned about preserving our culture and talking about issues that are relevant and constructing the society, for better days.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's more of a philanthropic work, actually, I should say.
Very true. Now it's the last question, that I asked every guest of ours. Yumlam Tana as an author, influencer, or an officer? You would be known as.
As an author and influencer, that would be better, because officer is my bread and butter actually.
It's for bread and butter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last questions. Now I would like to request you to please read us one more, something from your recent book, The Place Where the Rivers Meet. Sorry, I keep getting the name wrong. We do not want to miss this opportunity.
The stage of the story where one of the main characters, he unintentionally kills the hornbill, and unknowingly the mother hornbill and the chicks, they are hold inside this trunk of a tree actually.
Okay.
And
they are trapped inside.
Yeah, and they are trapped inside, and the father hornbill has to put food through a small aperture, a hole through, so that they can be fed.
Okay.
So when the father hornbill is killed, the children and the mother, they die inside the tree trunk.
That is so sad.
So this is the situation actually, and I wanted to read a portion from that one actually. She was still in her thoughts when her young ones began to whimper. They were hungry, and if they weren't fed soon, they would begin to screech and wail. Mother was now at her wit's end. She didn't know what to do. Then, using her beak, she began to knock down the wall of the nest that kept her family safe. But the wall was too strong. Her tough beak could only scratch at the surface. She realized she had to break it down to come out. If not, they would starve to death inside the hole. Now that father was no longer there to help them. Whatever little food was left on the floor of the nest, the little ones gobbled up. By afternoon, there wasn't a single seed to eat. In the meantime, mother brought down a significant chunk of the wall, and by sundown, little by little, further bits and pieces got removed. But it wasn't just enough. For hornbills, it was the male who would break wall from the outside to let the female step out. They would put the wall back after that, and then both would go out together to get food for their young ones. When the young ones grew up, the parents jointly broke down the wall for them to come out and emerge into the world. The group of rhesus monkeys noticed the male hornbill wasn't preening around anymore. It was their usual sight for some time. It confused them at first, but they resumed their old lives with gusto and more relish. For them, they all looked the same. This hornbill wasn't different from any other hornbill of the forest. If a pied one was gone, so what? Another one would take its place in no time, and life would go on as usual. Nothing was amiss for long unless someone burned down the entire forest. Nature has a way of healing itself and moving on. Nothing was permanent there. The female continued to bang her beak at the unyielding wall of the nest till the next morning. There were desperate calls from her. The chicks grew alarmed and began to cry. Perhaps they sensed something had gone wrong, but nobody heard them. The wind that blew through the canopy muffled their frantic calls for help. It also carried in its wake the muted hum of the distant river meandering through the valley below. The voices calling for succor grew weaker, and the knocks lost their frequency. By the time life had ebbed out of her little ones, the knocks ceased because she was prepared to meet her own fate. She kissed her little ones and began to grieve for them, unmindful of her own predicament. And when the time to give up her spirit came, she cursed the human from the depths of her heart. In the name of the Almighty Doni Polo, who is a witness today, I curse the human responsible for the death of my husband and children. May he suffer our fate sevenfold. By the spirit of the forest, I wish that no children should follow him into this world. May he die a painful and lonely death.
Oh my God, the situation is getting really heavy here, viewers. I wish it was longer, but this will keep the readers curious. Now, you said, sir, earlier that your books are not selling like a hotcake. I am very certain that now everyone will be looking for your book in the bookstall. I wish it never ended. We could continue this conversation. So I want to tell you all that next week we will be back with one more writers. With that, I want to say that since the airing of this series, you all have been very responsive. You all have sent names of various writers, like the one of today of Tana sirs. We are overwhelmed with your response, but sometimes we are not able to bring your favorite writers to the platform because of the time constraint and the location differences. But we will try our best to always bring one such writers, inspiring writers. Picture abhi baki hai. See you next week on next Sunday. Till then, stay blessed. Keep following the space for news and more. Paya Lingcho.
Thank you so much.
उनको मतलब वो मानने को तैयार ही नहीं है कि एक बंदा जो है जिनकी शक्ल सूरत जो है वो हमारे लोगों के जैसे नहीं है।
Exactly.
उनको कैसे ये एक साहित्य अकादमी युवा पुरस्कार मिल गया।
आपने एक ये हिंदी तागिन ट्रांसलेशन का एक बुक लिखा।
तो ट्रांसलेशन के दौरान बहुत हमें दिक्कतें हुई, जैसे कि इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट। अब उसके लिए हमारे पास कोई शब्द नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली, कभी हम लोग के पास तो एयरपोर्ट
नहीं। इस कविता को हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी के सिलेबस में भी अभी डाला हुआ है भारतीय साहित्य के अंतर्गत। मेरी माँ वो पतंग है जिसकी डोर टूट चुकी है, लेकिन माँ से बाप बनना मेरी माँ जानती है।
बिल्कुल।
मेरी माँ सभ्यता के चरमोत्कर्ष युग में रहकर भी किताबों की दुनिया में अजनबी है, लेकिन जिंदगी कैसे पढ़ी जाती है मेरी माँ जानती है। मेरी माँ जानती है।